the GamesAnimals.
Welcome to episode 3 of GamesAnimal TV. I know it's been a long time since we've got together like this, but it's been a busy year. I have my own studio here to run, and we've been up to all sorts, and some of which I will tell you about during the show. First off though, we decided to get off our asses. To be a gamer, you don't just have to sit on the sofa all day, piling on the calories and racking up the high scores. It's good to keep fit. So we decided this year to introduce the Sheldon Regatta to GamesAnimal Television. The Sheldon Regatta is a beach sports competition that happens every year on the south coast of England, and this year we put a GamesAnimal TV team in. We played sports like tug of war, volleyball, cricket, netball, football, rounders, the swimming races, sailing races, and we gave it a really good go. So recently I saw some guys, some journalists going over to America for the latest E3 show and everything, and it got my mind thinking back to back when we used to go over in the 90s. I mean, the thing to try to understand is that for us guys in the 90s, that golden era of gaming, going to America to a computer trade show, it was a real big deal. I mean, it's a big deal now. These guys get very excited. They go over, they see the latest games. It's pretty cool. But now you've got the internet, you've got websites, you've got social networking, email. Information is flying around. You can see the latest games moving anytime you want, online, 24 hours a day. Back in the 90s, when we were writing and creating the magazines, there was no way to see these games. If somebody was developing a game in America or Japan, even knowing about it was all a matter of networking, talking to the right people, finding things out. You couldn't email the soft codes. You couldn't just look on YouTube and try and find the latest screenshots, the latest pictures, see early levels moving. There was none of that. So when the computer trade shows came around each year, at the time there was 2 in America, which I think were called CES. They were in Los Angeles, I think they were in Chicago for a bit, and these were a real big deal. I mean, if you wanted to get the latest games for your magazines, you had to go. Up until then, we just had the Japanese import magazines, or we had magazines like Die Hard, Gamer. We had magazines like EGM. We used to get these from the import shops when such a thing existed. And this was the only way to find out what was going on in the world of gaming. So a ticket to America to go to CES was a real big deal. And what you also have to remember is we were minimum wage guys. We weren't getting paid brilliantly in the early days of games journalism. You had this kind of cult following with gamers, but you weren't making big money. So most of us couldn't afford a holiday. So the idea of going to America, I mean, that was like golden fleece. That was like something else, And if you could get your publisher to pay for you to go to America, that was amazing. Hotel, plane flight, and then what you had to do is you had to talk to the soft codes, and there'd always be friendlies. We would call them friendlies, and these were the guys you got on particularly well with, all the girls. And they would have a budget for taking over a number of journalists with them to America, to the big shows. The idea being, once you were on their ticket, they kind of had you in their pockets. So you would get some exclusive footage of the games they were developing. They would maybe take you after the shows off to Vegas or somewhere to meet you know, the developers or the programmers of the latest games, which was great for you, and it was great for them because they'd be guaranteed extra coverage in the magazines, maybe front covers. You kind of owed them for that ticket. It was always unspoken, but it was understood. So anyway, going to America was very, very important. And while we were over there, bunch of British guys, you know, not really worldly wise, we had some great adventures. And you would go over there loaded with as many pieces of machinery as you could to get hold of materials for your magazines. Because when you came back, your publishers wanted to know what they bought that ticket for. They wanted to know, even if you'd gone on a soft coast ticket, you still were being paid to be over there by the publisher. So they wanted to know they got value for money. So we'd borrow video cameras, normal cameras. Remember, this wasn't the age of digital photography. You had largely, you just had film in your camera, and the video cameras were high-8 at best, so they were big, heavy things. Not everybody owned them, so you'd have to borrow them off somebody just to justify. Sometimes just being the guy that could get a video camera would be what got you on the plane. And then you'd go over there, and the games would be shrouded in secrecy. You know, there'd be tons and tons of games out that you were supposed to see and supposed to play, and you'd be filming it over people's shoulders to get shots of levels moving, and you'd be trying to take pictures of levels and that. But sometimes that was forbidden, and there'd be security guards on the games. You know, no, you can't take any pictures. No pictures of this game. You can have a look at it, but you can't take pictures. So you'd kind of hide your video camera inside a bag or wrap a coat around it and stand in the background with the camera on zoom, just trying to zoom in on the screens to get footage before any other magazines did. It was like espionage, you know. It was really cloak and dagger stuff. We had a great time doing that. And then there'd be the parties afterwards. All the big softcos would have parties, and getting the tickets to those parties, that was the most desirable thing you could come up with, because, like I say, we didn't have a lot of money in our pockets. So this was how we ate. You know, you get invited to these parties. You'd usually get fed. There'd be some good food there, big buffet. You'd get free drinks, and of course, it's a party, and you want to have a good time. So yeah, that was pretty much what we did in America. Anyway, a lot of stories come out of those adventures, as you can imagine. One of which I'll share with you today. This story is called "When I Were in Oasis." Right, so when we were over there, I think it was Los Angeles. I'm pretty sure it was, because I remember Disney, and not the Florida Disney, the one no one remembers, the one that's in LA. And anyway, one of the softcos, a guy who we were friendly with, a PR guy, he was coming around to take us out that night. There was a party at the end of the night that we were all going to go to that was organised by his company. But we were a bunch of Brits that had gone over there, and he wanted to treat us well. So he had the budget. He came around to our hotel. This is when I was working for Paragon Publishing. And he came around to the hotel. He had a stretch limo, which was always a treat. You know, for us, that was Hollywood. So stretch limo. So a bunch of journos. We all piled out of our hotel into the stretch limo. The stretch limo would be full of booze, which is great. So we'd all start drinking. And what do Brits do in a limo full of booze? Of course, they open the skylights, and we're all hanging out the skylights, you know, drinking, saying hello to everybody, you know, thinking we're looking like rock stars, but actually we're just looking like Brits abroad. And the limo driver's trying to get us to come back into the car, etc. Anyway, we're in the limo, and we decide between us, obviously we're going out on the town in Los Angeles. We can't just be games journos, because no one's going to give a shit. You know, that's the nerdiest thing you could be. So we all came up with alternate identities as to who we were going to be. I remember one of the guys decided he was going to be a commercial diver, because apparently there's a lot of money in that and a bit of danger, and girls love money and danger. So that's what he decided he was going to be. A few of us were sat in there, and we said, we'll be rock stars. We'll be pop stars from Britain. We're over here publicising an album that's coming out. We're signing a record deal. We're doing a promotional tour. That's who we'll be. We've got a limo. So that's what we decided we were going to be. And we went, I remember, to Disney, the LA Disney, and we went in there, and there was a Hard Rock Cafe or something like that in there. And we went into this room, and of course, like I say, all young guys, we're not really massively worldly wise. We go to the bar, amazing bar, and it's full of California girls. You know, these girls, we haven't seen girls that look like this really. I mean, you know, the English girls were lovely, of course they were, but California girls, oh my God, something else. These girls were like walking models, and we're a bunch of guys, you know, young guys, and we're like, wow. So anyway, get to the bar. The PR guy orders a bunch of buffalo wings, I think, for snacks on the bar, which we didn't know what they were going to be. We thought buffalo, you know, America, of course, little chicken wing. What the hell are these? So anyway, lovely. So we're eating them. A couple of really hot girls on the side of the bar. So we've got a few northern guys with us, and in my experience, northern guys have got all the chat. No fear where girls are involved. So these two northern guys, they go over to talk to the girls, giving it all the chat, bring the girls back to us. But then, of course, you know, the girls then mingle and decide who they do and don't like. And you know, I'm generally the most handsome guy in the room, so generally I do pretty well out of that. So anyway, of course, our stories begin. The guy who's a commercial diver tells him he's a commercial diver, and me and a few of the other guys, we tell them we're in a rock band from the UK. Wow, guys, gee, you know, what's your band called? We hadn't thought that far, but we'd been playing Definitely Maybe in the limousine tape cassette, and so we said we're called Oasis. And just watch their faces to see if they knew who Oasis was. At the time, Oasis were just breaking in the UK. They were nothing much in America. So we're Oasis. So he goes, oh wow, Oasis, that's a cool name. Clearly didn't know who Oasis were. Brilliant. Get them back to the limo. We're going out and about in town. You know, could you show us some of the coolest bars, places to hang out? Yeah, guys. Yeah, of course. We'll take you to where our friends are. Brilliant. More California girls. So they get in the car, give the limo driver some directions, and off we go. Get to this bar. Along the way, we've got a copy of Definitely Maybe in the limo, like I say. So we show the girls, oh, this is our album. This is what we're over here promoting. Oh, put it on. So we put it in. Of course, Definitely Maybe by Oasis. It's a fucking awesome album. So it's playing. They're loving the music. And luckily on the cover, you can't see the guys properly. Oasis, the first two albums, you couldn't really see them. So that was great for us. She was like, oh, that's me there. You know, my hair was a different color then, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're buying it. So anyway, we get to this bar, great bar, somewhere on Sunset Boulevard, that kind of place, very trendy LA bar. We walk through with these girls, walk right through to the bar, you know, there's the dance floor and everything. Loads of their friends come over, they know everybody, so it's brilliant. So suddenly we're a bunch of British blokes getting beard up on a PR guy's money, and we're surrounded by Californians and Californian girls. Pigs in muck, really. Then all of a sudden, the moment. We're at the bar and the two girls have gone. We're chatting to other people. And all of a sudden, DJ, you know, sort of like suddenly turns down the music. Hey guys, I just want to let you know we've got some very special guests in the bar tonight. And we're kind of like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder who that is. We're in LA. It's a British band called Oasis. They're going to make it big over here. At that point, the girls turn around and point to us and start clapping, and all the crowd all starts clapping. They don't know why they're clapping, but it's just like a mob reaction. And the lights are on us, and everyone turns and looks at us. And you're like, shit. If anybody in here actually knows Oasis or follows the British Britpop scene or whatever, you know what I mean? We're about to get rumbled big time in the middle of this LA bar. As it was, nobody knew. Everybody come over, started patting us on the back, offering us drinks, etc. Cigarettes and alcohol went on. Everybody's dancing away. Whole thing gets forgotten. We get back to drinking. Little look at each other. Whew, you know, leave that place later, go to the party, and a good time was had by all. But for one night in LA, I was in Oasis. Now, despite our long layoff since doing the last show, a great number of people have been very supportive and very helpful to GamesAnimal TV, all of which I appreciate massively, of course. One guy I really want to shout out to is Dave Doherty. He's been really, really supportive, and when he heard that I was in Victory Boxing 2 for JVC many moons ago in the 90s, he did me the great favour of locating a copy of the game and sending it to me. Always nice to be in a video game, as I say, and for someone to actually find the game and send it to me, that's brilliant. But not just that, he heard that I planned on playing Amiga games again, Amiga being my machine of choice, and such a great era of gaming for me. Most of my favorite games of all time were on that machine, but he knows my feelings on Amiga controllers, and that is you've got to be playing your games on the Competition Pro Extra. But good Competition Pro Extras are not easy to find these days, because the years have gone by, they've not been kind to them, they've taken a battering. But David, he went out once again, used his contacts, used his sources, and got hold of a Competition Pro Extra for me, which he purchased on behalf of the show and then sent to me as a gift. So my Amiga gaming is back on track, and I have myself a Competition Pro Extra to play like I used to play in the 90s. So David, thank you very much, much appreciated. And anybody who wants to help with the show, wants to send things in, would like me to play them, to show them, to talk about them even, please do so. More than happy to receive old gaming items and any help with the show that you can give. This is a retro gaming show. I'm making it for you. It's not monetized. I'm not making a penny out of this. If you want to send things in for me to use, to showcase, then I'll be more than happy to try and put them on here for you. Cheers.
Knockout! You win!
Okay, next up, I want to introduce you to a company called 7 Squared. Now, 7 Squared, they make really nice retro merchandise. As you can see here, I've got a Brutal Deluxe t-shirt on from Speedball 2, one of my all-time favorite games, but they use many other titles, many other games. Xenon, as you can see, here's another one. This is a really loud Brutal Deluxe one in a bright orange. I'm not sure if I can bring myself to wear that one. I might do one day when I want a bit of shop value. But this company produce really good t-shirts, really nice retro gear. Also, they've given me a code for all GamesAnimal TV viewers. If you check the code here, you log that one in, GATV20, you'll get a 20% discount anytime you buy a t-shirt from them. So you're welcome. 7 Squared, get over there, get yourself some merch. Next up, I want to tell you about an article I've written for Fusion Magazine. Fusion Magazine is a independent retro gaming magazine that I write for every month, and they now have their 2020 annual coming out. So I agreed to write a big article for them. I decided to theme it around my love of Resident Evil, which was reignited this year with the advent of the new Resident Evil 2 reboot on PS4. That even resulted in my going out and buying a PS4, which I admit to some shame as a retro gamer, but I've enjoyed it. What a great game, what a great transformation that has been of a truly great license, which, to be fair, is fairly hard to play these days in its original format, quite hard to control. So Fusion Magazine, I wrote the article for them, and we decided we'd do a photo shoot, of course, very GamesAnimal. I'd get a few hot zombies in, and we put a few nice pictures together for the article. You'll be able to see it if you buy Fusion Magazine, read the article. Please do. We have to support the retro gaming industry. We really do. But in the meantime, here's what happened at the shoot. Oh, this is it, this is it. Turn it up. Turn it up, I told you. Look at these babes. Turn it up.
Bikini girls, I'm beat 'em ups, up and down, up and down. Bikini babes, I'm beat 'em ups, up and down, up and down. Bikini babes, don't follow fashion. They're too busy button bashing. Bikini babes, I'm beat 'em ups, up and down, up and down. Bikini babes, I'm beat 'em ups, don't wear a frown. They wear the crown. Bikini babes, I'm beat 'em ups, they're going up and down, they're going up and down. Bikini babes, I'm beat 'em ups, look at the